Alrighty, welcome back to round 4 of the Good Games Greensborough set champs. We've got our two French visitors here playing off in round number 4. Clermont won the high roll, so we'll be going first in this mirror match here. I believe they're on similar lists, maybe just one or two cards different. So it'll be interesting to see how the tech includes pay off in the mirror match. Again, very nice having our overseas visitors come and play in our local tournaments, give us a bit of a taste of what the DLC will be like. Now imagine going first in the mirror match is a big deal, being able to ramp first. We see the 1-drop Popsicle found for Clermont, and I believe that is a sail in hand, so we'll get that turn 2 ramp. Fabian unfortunately not having the Popsicle, but that Develop Your Brain can help dig deeper and look for that turn 2 ramp. The ink of the sail basically says that he has another one ready to go, and that Popsicle found as well. Could have played it, but not too many inkables. The removal very important in this matchup, so wanting to hold on to the Maleficent Dragon. And we do see a ramp for Fabian too. I imagine the Fishbone not going to be as useful in this matchup. Now it looks like we're going to have a good game here. The perfect turn 1, 2 and 3 for Clermont here, and hopefully Fabian has something similar. Doesn't have the Flavisham, but the How Far I Go also going to be good in getting this ramp up. Going to have the Male Shark next turn. Not much of a turn there for Clermont, just the quest from the Flavisham with no item in place, so I won't be drawing. And yep, there we go, we see the Half Shark coming down for Fabian. Probably going to be wanting to look for maybe some more ramp here, potentially for Clermont, or maybe an item to help draw some cards. So I believe there's no ice blocks in these decks, so the Sisu Powered Sibling not going to be as useful. We do see that Scar in Fabian's hand as well, and that could be a good tool to take out the Flavisham, but obviously Clermont not questing with that last turn, not wanting to give Fabian the chance to challenge it and get some actions back from the discard. Is just going to go for a Vision here. Could have gone for the Sail and ink 2 cards and then played the Vision, but just deciding that the cards in hand are a bit too valuable at the moment. Another item would be nice just to draw some more cards. A couple of T-Pos, they're not going to be too useful at the moment. Imagine we'll see this Ice Block come down potentially. Or the Popsicle, sorry. There it is, start drawing more cards and can quest with the Maui, as there are no evasive characters on Clermont's side and nothing to threaten challenging it here. So we do see the use of the Fishbone and the Banish, and then the Be Prepared, a good option just to remove this Maui before it starts getting too much lore. Now I don't believe either player is playing a Lady Tremaine, not something we see too often in the Ruby Sapphire decks, but can be a nice tech include for the mirror. So playing something like this Tamatoa not going to be threatened too much, other than some single removal like that Maleficent, but even if Fabian had 2 characters in play, wouldn't be playing around that, so... And I believe this is the Tamatoa he has marked just because he was considering playing another card, so something you can do in testing is, you know, either using a foil of the card that you are thinking about replacing to see if you ever get punished for not having that card or having the other card. So Fabian not inking here, too many important cards in hand at the moment, I believe. And we see it is a battle of the Tamatoas. I believe Fabian has the dragon in hand, so might have to ink now in order to play it. not too many good inking options, I believe, though. Could have inked the Porpsicle, and there we see the Lucky Dime. Now, I believe they are playing 2 hideaways, so not going to want to put that Lucky Dime into play too early, at risk of getting it put into the inkwell. Might just be another Tamatoa here for Clermont. Or even just a Sisu. As I said, not getting too much value in terms of its ability, but can still quest for 3. Now we see currently quite a low amount of lore for both players here, only 2 apiece. Now another interesting tech card here for the Mirror would be that Great Stone Dragon. Getting that extra ink every turn. Now we see the Vitalisphere, so I believe Clermont is playing that, but Fabian is not, so a very interesting card, especially when paired with the Maui Half Shark. Able to challenge as soon as you play it. And then we're just going to see the quest for 3, go up to 5, to Fabian's 2. Now, Clermont not wanting to go too wide here, as he is concerned about another Be Prepared coming in for Fabian. But I imagine this Scar can take out the Sisu. Plays his own Grammatile, start digging through the deck looking for some removal. Or potentially even more actions to pair with a Maui. Interesting choice there between the Porpsicle and the Flavisham. I'm just going to see the Brawl. Not too many targets with that Brawl now that the Flavishams are no longer in play. Imagine the Fishbone go into the ink there and the Porpsicle stays. That draw power is always important. And now you see here that Clermont and Fabian have been banishing their Porpsicles when they're not really healing much. You might be wondering why they do that, but the Tamatoa's ability to get it back from the discard when you play it, as well as questing, means that any time you have a Porpsicle in the discard and a Tamatoa ready to go, you can just get some free draw power. Definitely a sign of some high level players here. Alrighty, Vision of the Future. Didn't quite get a good look at the cards there. Maybe is that a Maui Half Shark? Can be quite useful probably later on in the game as you start getting more ink, because you can play it and then play your action straight away. Not too many useful cards, probably just going to take the Brawl here, I would imagine. And we could retaliate with a Dragon here after an ink, or just a Pirate's Life. So going to go up to, and Fabian down to 0, I believe. Going to start with some more draw. Does have a better board presence at the moment, but we do know that any turn another Be Prepared could come down. We do see the Lucky Dime come down, so wondering if Clermont has the Hideaway here. Could be very useful just to deal with this Dime before it gets a bit out of control. We see the 3 Brawls in hand, so can come in handy here to remove the Flavisham. Outside of that, not too much use for them. That's just going to be a pass back over, so another 4 lore turn at least for Fabian here. But if he has something like that, Tamatoa could get even more. Looks like we will see 8 paid for the big Sisu, getting 3 off the Dime on the Sisu and 2 from the Maleficent. Come on, probably wanting something like a Be Prepared here just to easily remove. Yep, and we do see that come down. Also has the Dime in their hand, but we notice both players have used quite a few of those Tamatoas already. And now that Fabian has the Dime in play, it's sort of putting Clermont on a bit of a clock here. Every turn we'll be getting some guaranteed lore, even if he doesn't have characters ready to quest. Alrighty, looks like we see the Maui come down and the Develop Your Brain. And I believe that was a Pirate's Life put into the hand. Or no, a hideaway actually, potentially. So that hideaway going to be very important. Want to hold on to that until the dime comes down from Clement. These players, being testing partners, know each other's deck pretty well, and that's always handy information to have. Another dime to get a lure off the shark. 7-12 now, I believe, in favour of Fabian. So this matchup, quite interestingly, although Fabian did go second, is currently ahead on board state and lore. I believe there's another hideaway. Probably doesn't need two of these. But could hold on to them just in case of something like a Maui shark and using that to gain some extra lore. I believe you'd have to start favouring Fabian as long as you can start getting some more characters down to use that lucky dime on. We are just going to see the dragon and a lucky dime coming, going up to 14. So something like a Pirate's Life next turn will win Fabian the game. Ooh, we do see Clement does hit that hideaway, so we'll be able to get rid of this lucky dime and slow Fabian down a bit. I imagine that hideaway is always coming down, but might be playing the shark first, just to get that extra lore when he plays it. So whilst it does give Fabian another ink, I think it's very important to try and stop this passive lore gain every turn. Not necessarily passive, but it's basically passive, as long as he plays a character down. Gonna start drawing some cards here, so something like a Maui half shark and a couple of actions next turn, one of those being a Pirate's Life, could win Fabian the game, because Clement probably has to try and look for a Be Prepared this turn. Does have that Be Prepared. Going to use the vision first, just get some more information. Again, another sign of a good player. If you're always going to be playing this vision after the Be Prepared, you might as well play it first just to get a little bit more information. Going to ink this brawl. Not going to be giving too much help now. Fabian's down a lot of those Flavershams, a lot of those items, and a lot of the Tamatoas, so not too many low strength characters coming into play. See the Tamatoa come down. Now I imagine that Maleficent will be coming down here for Clement. I don't think he has quite enough ink to play the dime as well. Would need 16 for that. Gonna Flaversham first. And then possibly ink to play the Maleficent. Again, just playing that Flaversham first, getting some extra draw, some more information on what's to come. Alrighty, now we might see this brawl come down. I'm not sure if Fabian has the Maleficent in hand as well. We do just see the Sisu instead. So not going to be able to deal with this Maleficent, so Clement's going to start getting some lore here. Does have that dime in hand, but unfortunately we know Fabian has been holding on to the hideaway. And we see these games can go on for quite a while. These Ruby mirror matches, Ruby Amethyst into Ruby Sapphire, or just the straight mirror match. So very important to hold on to as many resources as you can, and we see these players doing just that. Interestingly, took the sail here. Just another action to play with that Maui half shark. Interesting to see the lucky dime come down here without any activation. Well, hasn't inked yet, so he is able to actually activate that. We'll get 2 lore out of it for 9 ink. But unfortunately Fabian does have the hideaway here, so Imagine's going to play that. And we do have the quest and the Maui half shark with the Be Prepared, so that's going to wrap up game number 1 going to Fabian, who actually went second in that game. So I imagine this is one of the mirror matches where it's not as important going first, since you do get quite heavily into the late game and can make your comebacks there. So we'll see how Clement responds going second. And maybe, in fact, going second might be the play, having that extra card in hand. Let's get into game number 2. So here we go. Game 2. Fabian will be going first and has just mulliganed. Clement doing the same. Does have the fishbone there as some form of ramp. Will be interesting to see if he has the turn 2 ramp as well. I imagine most of the time you want to be going 1-drop item, turn 2 ramp, turn 4 Flavisham, in this matchup at least. Although going second, you may need to respond to your opponent's Flavisham with a Brawl. So I don't think we see a 1-drop here for Clement. Oh, maybe the Develop Your Brain. So we'll try and dig deeper for that 2-cost ramp. Doesn't seem to have it at this stage. We see Fabian here having the turn 2 ramp, turn 1 item again, so putting him in a very good position. Again, for Clement, looks like it's just going to be an ink and pass. I don't think I see the 2-cost ramp in hand. And so definitely not the start you want going second. Alrighty, so we see the vision come in. Not quite the Flavisham to draw some cards, but definitely trying to look for possibly some more ramp here. So next turn can get the Maui out. Can ink the Hideaway and yep, play a Sail and then ink another card. So next turn we'll have 6 and able to play the Maui and sort of start to run away with it. And we're just going to see the quest from the Tipo for 1. Finally, Clement has the 1-drop item, but a little bit too late here. Perhaps not. Chose not to play it. So we see Fabian running away with it here, already at 6 ink. Clement just going into 4 ink this turn. So still a few turns away from dealing with this Maui, and Fabian will just be able to quest with both every turn. Anything like a Develop Your Brain and Vision of the Future can help him get even closer to 20 with that Maui Half Shark's ability. I think Clement's going to start playing some of these How Far I'll Goes. Probably singing with the Grammatala. I think you have fallen a little bit behind here, so I think you may need to just give up this 1 challenge from the Maui Half Shark in order to get ahead on your ink. He's just going to play it first. I think that's sensible, just see what you draw. And it's just going to pass. So it still has 7 for next turn in case they get the Be Prepared. So Fabian going to be aware of that, not going to want to go too wide. Just going to go with the double quest here and the pass. So Clement definitely going to be looking for that Be Prepared. So Fabian, despite having an explosive start, isn't putting on too much pressure here at the moment, just questing for 2 every turn. Interesting to see Clement probably plays 4 Be Prepared, so pretty high chance of hitting it at least off this vision, if not the How Far I'll Go to be sung by the Grammatala, but it is a risk because then the Maui Half Shark can challenge into it to get an action back. He's just going to go for this vision first, and we do see the Be Prepared there, so if they were to sing How Far I'll Go, would have been able to get that Be Prepared into hand and clear the board. Bit of a risk there, so Clement just deciding to play it a bit safe. I believe that's the dime there as well, so that going to the bottom of the deck as well is not what you want to see in this matchup. Both players are playing the Hideaway, so not as impactful, but definitely something you can use to seal up the game. We do see he's going to take the dime as a result. Knowing that there's still a few more Be Prepareds in the deck, so can draw into those in the coming turns, and we'll be able to play the Dragon next turn anyway to remove this Maui. So now we see some of the actions come down. getting some lore, filtering through the deck. Just another Flavisham coming down, drawing some cards, and another action. Yeah, I imagine Fabian needs to take the Be Prepared here. All the removal cards are so important. You know you're up against a testing partner who is a good player, so they're not going to give you too many free challenges with the Maui to bring back some of those removal options, like Be Prepared. I imagine we're just going to see a quest, if not a sing of how far I'll go if they have it. Otherwise, just probably an Ink and a Maleficent to take out this Maui, because they are starting to run away with it a bit. Question is, what do you ink here? The Hideaway is very important, but if you have another one, probably could ink that. And it's a bit of a mind games here. Inking the Hideaway can sort of signal to your opponent that you might have another one in hand, even if you are bluffing. So if your opponent knows you're a good player and you ink a Hideaway, they probably won't suspect you inking it if you don't have another one in hand. So interesting thing there. And Fabian knows the Be Prepared's coming. He's already gotten rid of his characters in play. Clement just waiting to figure out what he's going to ink. Possibly something like that Brawl. Not as important. Especially when you can play things like that Sisu. With Seam tossing up between the Hideaway as well. So definitely a bit of mind games here. Fabian might not feel safe still to play his dime if the Hideaway was inked. So yeah, and then we see the Be Prepared come in. And Fabian already up to 8 lore. Something like the Tamatoa coming down here. Get that item back, start drawing some more cards. And as a result, I imagine we will see Clement play the Dragon. We do just keep this board clear of Fabian's, making sure he can't quest since he's already getting quite close, almost halfway to that 20 mark. Could see another Dragon response here. Fabian still... We do just see the Grammatala here, so given that Clement's only on 1 lore at the moment, not too concerned about the questing. Just wanting to find some more card draw options, maybe looking for that Flavisham, start drawing some more cards. And then another Maui coming down. Clement going to want to probably remove that sooner rather than later. I believe it does have another Dragon in hand. We'll probably have to play that one to remove the Shark. And then just a quest here. Now we do see Be Prepared for Fabian here. These Maleficents are putting on a fair bit of questing power. So we see the Lucky Dime, the tapping, and Clement correctly keeping a hold of that Hideaway here. We'll probably be playing that now, but does he have anything else in hand to play first? Possibly his own Lucky Dime. We do see that Lucky Dime and the Hideaway on the opponents, and then just going to be a quest up to 7, I would imagine. Oh, the trade first, because that Grammatala was exerted. Now, interesting to see what Fabian has. Does have that Be Prepared, so can clear this board, but I don't think he has a Hideaway at the moment, so Clement taking a little bit of a gamble here, playing this Lucky Dime, but fortunately has not been punished yet. Does decide to keep the Pirate's Life, and then the Be Prepared comes down. So tough choice there for Fabian. The Sail does allow for a card draw. And again, we see, despite going second, Clement's in quite a good spot here. Probably just want to look for that draw in the Porpsicle. So I imagine we'll play that, getting a lore from the Vision. Does get another half Shark. And now we see next turn with the the Tamatoa and the Dime can get another 3 lore. So Fabian on a bit of clock to deal with this lucky dime here. Does only have 4 cards in hand, or 5 after drawing. Probably going to see this Popsicle to draw a card, as wanting to find that hideaway as soon as possible. Unfortunately doesn't draw it, but does have the Maleficent to deal with this Maui here. Now we see over to Clemon, who will probably play a Tamatoa and activate it to gain some lore. Going to banish first to get the Popsicle back, play the Popsicle, and then can activate the Dime. Did draw into another one, but unfortunately won't have enough ink to play it as well. But next turn we'll be able to play the Tamatoa and the Lucky Dime, because he does have another one in hand, but I imagine we're going to have to see another dragon come down to remove this Tamatoa, just putting on a bit too much pressure, especially with that Lucky Dime. Now I imagine we're going to see a Tamatoa and a couple of Popsicles here, going to be getting 4. Unfortunately, Clemon does know that Fabian is currently at 12, I believe, so might have just enough ink to play these 2 Pirate's Life. So might need something to remove these 2 Maleficents here. Doesn't look like he's drawn into it just yet, so might have to play this Sail in order to draw into it. Definitely a close game here, coming down to the wire. Clement does still have the Lucky Dime available, whereas Fabian's has been hidden away in the ink. Now if he does play something like that Flavisham, looks like it's going to be the Tamatoa coming down. Going to see another Popsicle, so it looks like this Lucky Dime here will be giving a 5 lore. And if Fabian cannot deal with this Tamatoa, that will be the game to Clemon. But I believe Fabian at 12 at the moment does have the double Pirate's Life. So Clemon calling the bluff on Fabian, but did have the double Pirate's Life to win the game there, and did have enough ink, thankfully. So very close one coming down to the wire, and Fabian coming out on top 2-0. I think the players may have decided to split in the end, but just wanting to play to check the matchup and get a bit more practice in. So congratulations to Fabian, playing very well in that game there. Sort of running away with it a bit early, and Clemon having a bit of a rough start there in game 2. But if you ever want to figure out how to play the Ruby Sapphire mirror match, these games definitely gave a very good insight to that. So if you enjoy the content, like, subscribe, and leave some comments on what deck was your favorite from the weekend of the DLC, and then tune in for the next video as we get into round number 5.